Good morning. This is Holly Reese with Warrior Defenders. Welcome to the first podcast show of Empower Strikes Back today. We are going to be talking about women's issues and we're going to be talking about spring break. But since this is my first time on WQEE 99.1 FM, I want you to introduce myself to you a little bit. We're going to talk about women's self-defense, women's health, women's safety issues here on the show. This is going to be a time where everybody can learn about how to be your own hero. As a women's self-defense instructor, certified, I specialize in women's self-defense, and I'm here to make sure everybody knows they have the right to learn how to defend themselves from all ages, from 6 to age 96. So we are here to educate all ages on how to be safe. And like I said, I'm Holly Reese with Warrior Defenders, warriordefenders.com. Today's show is Empower Strikes Back. And this, in our area, is Spring Break Week. So today, I would like to share some safety tips and some advice on the spring breakers out there. And of course, the people that are traveling with spring break, we'll talk about safe travel and driving as well. So first of all, when you're going on spring break, there's all kinds of travel issues. You don't know where you're going to be in a location, and those things are so important because you need to be aware of your surroundings. What I say in all my classes is, where does a fight start? It starts when you're targeted. It starts immediately when we have issues of people sometimes watching us. And when we're being watched, that is when we are starting the fight. So we want to make sure that we are situationally aware of our surroundings. Don't have your headphones in. Don't have your phone down while you're walking. Be aware of your surroundings. I play a fun game for situational awareness. It's called Name the Noise. So when you're walking around town and you hear a noise, look at it and say what the noise is. Make sure that it is named. So if you hear a rustle in the grass, is it a squirrel? Is it a dog? Is it a person? Make sure that you're aware of a door slamming. Where did that door come from? What car is it? You don't have to be worried about it, but you're identifying it. This game helps you build up your situational awareness while you're walking around in public. And that is also a great game to teach for your kids too. When they hear a noise, they can look and say, look, I saw this. So while you're on spring break this week, you need to be situationally aware and play the game to be aware of who's in the parking lot, who's walking behind you. Watch your shadows, watch reflective surfaces. On top of that, you also need to have a buddy system. So what is a buddy system on spring break? You know, we all want to be out and about with our friends and having fun, but you need to make sure that you stick with your buddy, girlfriends, your guy friends, everybody stay together. That way, everybody is accountable. So you're not being left behind somewhere. You're not being alone with somebody you shouldn't be alone with. And that gives you a safe environment. That buddy system also goes along with safe drinking. And I know that the spring breakers out there are frowning on me right now, but there is something about safe drinking. Safe drinking means you do not leave your drinks unattended anywhere without being watched. And I have seen the videos out there. They can be very sneaky. They can drop pills in your drinks while your drink is even out to your side. So make sure you always have your eyes on your drink. And I do also have on my website available those safety cup covers so that you can cover your cocktail and make sure nothing gets put in your drink. Don't ever accept a drink from somebody who sent it over. I know it's nice and it's kind and all of that, but you don't know where you are and you're in a strange environment, so make sure that you're not taking in anything that you should not be. Along with that, if you're feeling like you've had too much to drink or something you drank just made you sick, get help immediately. Tell your buddy that you need to go because something is wrong. And if you feel like it's dangerously wrong, go to the emergency room where you are and make sure that you're okay. There are a lot of sneaky people out there, and they're not all bad, but we have to watch out for ourselves, especially when you're trying to have a good time. It's hard to keep all of this safety in your head, but it's so important. The spring break issues that happen in strange environments, people who live there are watching and they know you're coming in. So we need to make sure that you're okay with that. Always make sure that you check in with your buddy. Have a safe word set up so that you can know, hey, Bill just called me and there is no Bill, but you have to go. So make sure that there is that safe word set up. Make sure that you are drinking enough water, because when you are out in the sun and you are drinking alcohol, you get dehydrated. That also makes you vulnerable to passing out in the future when you might be dehydrated. And believe it or not, the more water you drink while you're drinking, the less hangover problems you're going to have the next morning. And I do not condone drunk driving at all, so please also have a designated driver with you for spring break. And feed your designated driver since they can't drink. That would be nice. When you are hydrating often, that also helps you to not burn. So make sure you have your sunscreen. That's a safety issue, because if you are burnt and miserable, you're not going to have a good time, and make sure that you stay safe with that. When you arrive at your hotel, you're arriving in a strange environment. People know you're at a hotel. There are quite a few things you can do to stay safe on spring break, arriving at your hotel. Don't ever let anybody know where you're staying. Don't ever give out your room number to anyone. Make sure you and your buddy always arrive and leave together at the hotel. And that brings up a good point when you're getting on an elevator. I teach a whole course about traveling safety, but one of the main things that is always brought up is elevator safety. Because when you're in the elevator, you want to make sure that you are in control of the buttons. That if you feel like the person who's got on the elevator with you is a creepy character, get off on another floor, go down to the front desk, and let them know that somebody in the hotel is making you feel uncomfortable. They may not have intentions, but it's better safe than sorry. Trust your intuition. When you get on the hotel, be in control of those buttons. Make sure your back is to the wall, and do not be on your phone while you're in the elevator. Look around. Watch the people in the elevator casually. See where their hands are. See if they're shifting back and forth. Read their body language. See if they are maybe scanning around, looking to see who's watching them. Identifying an attacker is one thing they don't want you to be able to do. So if you know what somebody looks like, it's a lot easier for them to think that you're a hard target. You always want to be a hard target. You want to not look easy. The best way to keep a shark from biting you is to punch him in the nose. So if you already know what they look like, that's already their punch in the nose. And if you have control of the buttons, you have the chance to get off and get on in your time. Always make sure that you have your self-defense tools ready with you while you're in public. Pepper sprays, striking tools, stun devices, those are all available on my website at warriordefenders.com. Don't put them in the bottom of your purse. You can't just shake the purse out and say, hold on, bad guy, I gotta find my pepper spray. You have to make sure that that pepper spray or self-defense tool is in your hand. You can also use a good tactical pen as well. If you're flying, it's kind of hard to get those self-defense tools on the plane with you, but I do have options and ways for you to defend yourself without having to worry about something being confiscated at the airport. You want to make sure that when you're driving in an Uber or a Lyft or a taxi or a friend's vehicle, first of all, number one, like I said, don't get in the vehicle with somebody who's been drinking. Have a designated driver. Have the apps on your phone for Lyft and Uber and all of those, but let's be careful with them. Make sure that when you're getting into the back seat, the safety lock for the door will let you get back out. A lot of the time, certain cars have those locks so children can't open the doors. Make sure that that is not the issue with your Uber driver. If you do not feel comfortable with your Uber driver, get another one. Don't get into a car if you feel like this is a bad thing. A lot of us have seen the movie Taken. Make sure that those people that you are driving with don't know where you're actually staying in the hotel. Don't give out your room numbers. Don't think that he's cute and all this, and trust everybody. You really want to be cautious when you're driving, even in another person's vehicle. Be careful with where you keep your money. Make sure that it is secured. Make sure that if you have a purse or a backpack, you keep that. And I see this so many times at restaurants, people putting their purse or backpack on the chair next to them, and then they look down at their phone and they're not paying attention to their wallet, and somebody could lift that. It's so easy. So make sure you have a carry-on, not a concealed carry, but a body shoulder strap, crossbody, so that you can keep everything in front of you. When you're walking in crowds, it's extremely easy to lift a phone out of your jacket, to lift a phone out of your backpack, or to lift the phone out of your purse that might be hanging open. Make sure that everything is secured, zip shut, and in your hands reach. Make sure that you know exactly where everything is at all times, and make sure that you do have an RFID carrier inside your wallet so that you can not have your credit card scanned. Always be sure to lock your cards that you have, be it on Cash App or Venmo or anything like that, so that if you do lose those cards, that you won't have a fraud going on with your cards as well. Don't flash your money around. If you have a lot of money, please separate that out as you go and make sure that you're in a safe location when you are counting down your money. People watch you. The predators out there will watch your actions, and if you're unsure then or doing things in public that make you a target, they will be able to target you easier. And that brings me to another point. Walk confidently as women. Make sure that you go from point A to point B in a steady manner. Don't wander around like you're looking lost. Somebody will come up to you and act like, oh, I can help you, and then you might be in contact with somebody who has ill intent towards you. Make sure that you are always going to be aware of your surroundings. That is the number one key in self-defense that's looked over in so many classes and things that are out in public. There is striking involved, there is defense moves involved, but the number one thing is self-defense is situational awareness. Believe it or not, your reflections are a great way to see behind you. When we were little, you always thought Mom had eyes in the back of her head because she knew what was going on. She knew how to use reflections and intuition. So when you're at the gas station, that horrible little sign that says how much you're paying, look through that and see the reflection behind you. Make sure when you're at the gas station going to and from spring break that you will be aware of all your doors being locked. Make sure that you're seeing through the windows of your car. Look at the reflection. If any movement picks up in your peripheral vision, you need to look and identify, just like with the game of sound, identify what that motion is. It could have been a leaf, it could have been a plastic bag, it could be somebody dropping their keys, but you've identified that motion. If you identify every motion around you, you'll be situationally aware along with hearing everything. These are so important, especially for our spring breakers out there who want to celebrate and enjoy their accomplishments for the year that they are in school and doing all that homework. This is your chance to let go. This is your chance to relax, but we want you to come home safe. We don't want to see you come back with trauma. A lot of the women and girls in my class usually don't show up until after they've been traumatized in a situation. So we want to make sure that we get you prepared so nothing does happen to you. That's my whole reason for doing the Empower Strike Back podcast and the education that I do in the women's self-defense classes. I want to see more women be able to defend themselves. On that note, we also want to realize that everything around you is an improvisable weapon. What do I mean by that? A fork, a chair, your hat, you can throw at somebody to distract them, your towel, your beach bag, your sunscreen bottle, anything like that can be thrown at somebody if you're trying to get away. So always be aware of your improvisational weapon systems that you're using. There was a game on social media where they said if something at the right of you and somebody broke in, would you be able to defend yourself? Think about that game sometimes. Whatever's to the right of you right now, is that a weapon that you could use? Is that something that you could throw to distract? Sand on the beach is a great distraction to throw in somebody's face if you want to get away from somebody. With all of this in mind, always remember, drive safe. Make sure that you know who your buddy is. Do your text messaging to your family. Let them know you've arrived safe. Let them know you're okay. And if you're down there for a week, check in with them on a daily basis, because we all want to be connected, and social media and society is all interconnected, so there's really no excuse not to just say, hey, I'm fine, I'm having a good time. And you want to make sure that they know that you're okay and you'll be home when you're coming home. Also text them when you've arrived, text them when you're leaving, keep them informed of where you are. And also one big thing, if you are traveling, and this goes for everybody, not just spring breakers, please don't post your social media that you're out away from your house while you're gone. It may be privately posted, but you don't know who privately posted will send it to somebody else, and then you have a problem while you're not home. And that keeps your home safe as well. So we want to make sure that we take everything into account, and we want to make sure that we stay safe and be aware of your surroundings. For spring breakers and all of those out there that are thinking about the things that I've talked about, I want you to stay tuned for more Empower Strike Back. But if you or anybody you know is looking to learn how to defend themselves effectively in survival mode, reach out to me at warriordefenders.com. I have seminars and classes on a weekly basis all over North Georgia at all the North Georgia Walmart Health Centers, as well as locally here in Noonan. I do private seminars and inspirational speaking as a domestic violence survivor, and I travel and help as many people as I can. We even have classes for seniors, real estate, and home invasion, as well as surviving a first-person shooter survival scenario and what you can do to get away. All the things that I teach are to help you build up your survival so that you can get away in a stressful situation. So I want you to be prepared. So reach out to me at warriordefenders.com, social media, Facebook, Instagram. Check out my YouTube channel for more podcasts and guests that are be coming up soon. And I'm super excited to be here on WQEE on 99.1 FM, sharing with you safety and self-defense issues and concerns and ways to keep you all be your own hero in today's world. And I want to see more survivors and more fighters and less victims.